In the near future, human-like androids with artificial intelligence become common household appliances. What could go wrong, right? We watched Humans from 2015. Stay tuned to hear what we thought. Welcome back to Cheers and Jeers, where we review some of the best and worst of film and television over the years. But before we get started, please take a moment, smash that like button, comment, share this video if you like what you see. It really does help as we continue to try to grow this channel. Now, on to our review. The television series Humans premiered in 2015 and ran for 3 seasons for a total of 24 episodes. It was shot in London, and in the United States it aired on the AMC network. Now, this is one of several recent series that we're taking a look at that revolve around the concept of human-like androids being developed in the near future, pretty close to present time, so not some futuristic environment, and how they are integrated into society, both successfully and unsuccessfully. Now, this show, Humans, had an ensemble cast of mostly unknown actors, at least unknown to the American audience. It is a science fiction drama series written by SamVincent and Jonathan Brackley, and it's based on the original Swedish award-winning drama called Real Humans. The story is set in a parallel universe where technology is highly advanced, and androids called synths in the show are the must-have machine for any household. Joe Hawkins is one of our protagonists, and he decides to buy one to help out around his house, and his wife Laura feels uncomfortable around the humanoid android. Now, this is perhaps a little bit understandable, I think, given human nature. The android takes the form in this case of simulating the appearance of a young woman, quite attractive. Now you have a couple, and the husband buys a lifelike humanoid android that looks like a young, attractive woman. Can you imagine the wife being a little bit unsettled by this? I mean, what could go wrong in this scenario? I mean, I can't think of anything, right? So we also follow the story of an elderly gentleman who has an android named Odie, who he's had for a long time and is malfunctioning, and that's a little bit touching because he's living alone. He's become very attached to this android as basically a friend, and the thing slowly ends up breaking down. And I think that reminds me a little bit of several other sci-fi stories where you see humans end up getting attached to these artificial companions. The Joaquin Phoenix movie Her a while back showed the same thing happening with a artificial intelligence that was that not an android. It was just a program in a computer, but that same sort of bond connected for good or for ill. The cast are all from the United Kingdom, and as I said, they're not really familiar to the American audience. I think that can help in a story like this. It helps us be introduced to the characters without any preconceived notion of having recognized the faces from other shows. The premise is really interesting. It's been done in a few other shows both before and since, but I think they added a bit of originality to this show and told a compelling story. I think this idea goes all the way back to Blade Runner. Was one of the first, I mean, I guess not the first. You can go all the way back to Westworld, the original Westworld back in the 70s, and heck, Metropolis, if you want to go all that way back. But most recently, at least as far as since the 80s going forward, Blade Runner really explored this idea of synthetic humans being created that were almost indistinguishable from people, became self-aware, and then had existential crisis as they tried to struggle with their limited existence as a mechanism, as an artificial person that doesn't have the same legal rights as real people, and has other limitations too. In Blade Runner, it was just a 2-year lifespan. In this show, there's other things. Most primarily the being in the category of a second-class citizen. One of the things I found interesting in this show, and I think it's because it came out in 2015 after we're well into the era of smartphones and mobile devices, and we're all used to having to recharge our smartphones constantly. Back when cell phones first came out, the flip phone era, you'd plug in your phone and it would be good for several days before you'd have to plug it back in. Smartphones, big advancement in technology, but one of the big steps backward was very short battery life, especially in the first generation or two of smartphones. You'd have to constantly go and plug them in, and that battery anxiety that came with the era of smartphones is reflected in how they portray the synths in this show. They have to go recharge seemingly constantly, and you go back to previous depictions of androids, whether it's Blade Runner, whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator in the Terminator movies, whether it's the android Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. You never see them going and plugging in and recharging. They effectively have an infinite battery life. I believe in Terminator 2, Schwarzenegger's Terminator let slip that he can run for about 100 years on his original power cell. Well, that's not the case in this movie. These androids are constantly having to go sit down and plug into an outlet, and if they don't, then they deactivate and turn off and potentially die, for lack of a better term, and that becomes a plot element. They're the ones that go rogue, that develop self-awareness and are basically become outlaws, fugitives from the law. Their ability to get electricity becomes a real critical point for them, and sometimes they don't quite manage to get it, and that becomes a struggle. So that was an interesting element. The production quality, special effects, everything very good. The acting, all very good. The way they portray the androids, particularly when they're not flipped on to being sentient or self-aware, they all have a very dopey deer in the headlights expression on their face, which I think maybe is a touch silly. You saw the same thing done with the android character on the TV series Dark Matter. Just had a real dopey deer in the headlights expression all the time. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, you look at Brent Spiner's performance in as Data in The Next Generation. He didn't walk around with raised eyebrows, looking just clueless all the time. I think he did a better job of that. But that's just one minor nitpick. Overall, I give this show a good review. It was really enjoyable. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Check it out if you want. It's on Amazon Prime, where you can stream it for free if you've got the Prime subscription, and I'd highly recommend it. So, what did you think? Do you agree with our opinion? Is there anything about this show that we missed that you think should be pointed out? If so, let us know in the comments below, and we will take a look. And as always, please, if you like what you saw here, share this video. That's the best thing you can do to help us continue to grow this channel. And leave us any recommendations if there's anything that you want us to review. So, until next time, keep cheering and jeering.